As the 2025 NFL offseason unfolds, the Chicago Bears have made headlines not through flashy draft picks, but by quietly securing promising talent where few others were looking. The team's decision to bypass the safety position during the NFL draft raised some eyebrows, with many analysts highlighting it as a critical gap in their roster strategy. Yet in a calculated post-draft move, the Bears signed two undrafted safeties, Major Burns and Tysheem Johnson. Burns has drawn early attention due to his athletic build. Standing at 6 feet 3 inches and clocking a 4.54-second 40-yard dash with a 37-inch vertical leap, Burns certainly checks the boxes physically. However, much of the football community, scouts, insiders, and analysts alike, are shifting their focus to Johnson, who is emerging as a potential diamond in the rough. Tysheem Johnson is far from a mere training camp placeholder. His signing carries weight, particularly when considering the Bears' recent history of undrafted players making significant impacts. Just in the past few seasons, players like linebacker Jack Sanborn and quarterback Tyson Bagent carved out roles on the team despite going undrafted. Even wide receiver Daurice Fountain turned heads during camp and preseason play last year. What makes Johnson stand out isn't his size. At 5'10" and 195 pounds, he doesn't fit the traditional mold of an NFL safety, but rather his on-field performance. Last season at Oregon, Johnson was widely viewed as the most impactful player on the Ducks' defense. He consistently delivered from the backfield, demonstrating an instinctive ability to track plays and disrupt opposing offenses. With 67 tackles, 3 interceptions, and multiple tackles for loss, his stat sheet shows a pattern of sustained production. Analysts familiar with the Bears' defensive scheme suggest that Johnson could be more than just a training camp story. His physicality, ball awareness, and willingness to play downhill against the run give him an edge that could earn him a roster spot. In fact, according to scouting grades, Johnson posted a 77.6 tackling score and had at least 5 tackles in 7 games, numbers that place him among the more efficient tacklers entering the league this offseason. While the general sports media might be overlooking Johnson due to his size, history suggests that certain systems, like the one led by Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, can maximize the potential of smaller safeties. In Johnson's case, his size becomes far less of a concern when measured against his skill set and the needs of the current roster. When analyzing Tysheem Johnson's potential fit within the Bears system, the name Dennis Allen comes up for good reason. Allen has a notable track record of deploying safeties who fall short of the standard size expectations but thrive in specialized roles. This context matters greatly in evaluating how Johnson might integrate into Chicago's defense. Two of Allen's most successful safety projects, C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Tyrann Mathieu, serve as useful comparisons. Gardner-Johnson, listed at 5'11" and 210 pounds, thrived under Allen's guidance and became a staple in the secondary. Similarly, Mathieu, at just 5'9" and 190 pounds, earned Pro Bowl recognition while operating in Allen's defense. In both cases, the system was adapted to amplify the strengths of the players, focusing more on football IQ, ball skills, and versatility than mere height and weight. This sets a promising precedent for Johnson. His own stats reflect a high-impact defender. Over the past 2 seasons, he registered 5 interceptions, more than 130 tackles, and over a dozen passes defended. He also added 16 tackles for loss and a sack during his college career. Such productivity, especially from the safety position, demonstrates his range and adaptability. What makes Johnson especially intriguing is his ability to cover deep while also stepping up against the run. He doesn't shy away from contact and plays with noticeable intensity. That chip-on-the-shoulder style, often associated with overlooked athletes, could serve him well in training camp. Beyond the numbers, Johnson brings experience from 2 major college programs. He began his career at Ole Miss, playing 2 years in the SEC before transferring to Oregon. There, he continued to excel, frequently matching up against high-caliber offenses in the Pac-12. The transfer portal has changed college football, giving players like Johnson a chance to find systems that better showcase their skills. For NFL scouts and coaches, this experience in multiple schemes is an added bonus. In terms of the Bears' current depth chart, Johnson has a real shot at earning a roster spot. Behind starters Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard, the team has limited proven depth at safety. Brisker's concussion history has created some concern about durability, and Byard, though reliable, is entering the later years of his career. This opens the door for fresh, motivated talent to step in and claim a role. According to team sources, the Bears are intentionally building depth at safety with an eye on the future. Comments from team executives emphasize the importance of developing young talent who can push for roster spots, particularly under a coaching staff not tied to prior personnel decisions. With a revamped coaching setup, there's increased flexibility in evaluating players on merit rather than tenure or draft status. The Bears' recent draft strategy also hints at long-term planning. While they passed on selecting a safety, they did use mid-round picks on defensive backs and linebackers known for their speed and athletic upside. This signals a shift toward building a defense that can adapt to today's fast-paced offenses. Johnson's skill set aligns perfectly with this philosophy. Quick, reactive, and unafraid to make plays in open space. As rookie camp approaches, Tysheem Johnson will have his opportunity to show the coaching staff that he belongs in the NFL. The path from undrafted free agent to starter is not common, but it's not unheard of, especially in Chicago. The organization's willingness to give undrafted players a legitimate chance sets the stage for Johnson to make his case. Training camp will be critical. Johnson needs to demonstrate not only his ability to grasp the defensive scheme, but also his capacity to perform consistently in practice and preseason games. Special teams will likely be his initial avenue onto the field, a common route for young defensive backs, but standout performances on defense could accelerate his progress. There's a sense of urgency in the Bears' defensive room. With questions surrounding Brisker's availability and Byard's longevity, the team needs fresh legs ready to contribute. Johnson, with his history of production and aggressive playing style, has positioned himself as a serious contender. His ability to generate turnovers and tackle in space fits well with what the coaching staff is trying to build. Moreover, Johnson's mentality will be key. Players who go undrafted often enter the league with a chip on their shoulder, a relentless drive to prove that teams made a mistake by passing them up. That edge can often be the difference maker in high-pressure moments during training camp and preseason. While it's too early to project Johnson's long-term role with certainty, the early signs are promising. His college tape shows a player with instincts, discipline, and a clear understanding of the game. More importantly, his strengths align with what the Bears need right now: depth, versatility, and the ability to create impact plays. From a front office standpoint, this kind of signing represents smart roster management. Rather than overreaching in the draft or overspending in free agency, the team identified a player who fits their system and provides value at a low cost. It's a calculated risk, but one with significant upside. If Johnson can stay healthy, adapt quickly, and prove his worth during camp, he could be one of the most valuable finds of this offseason. He doesn't need to become an all-pro to make a difference. Just a reliable rotational piece who can step in when needed. As the first off-season workouts begin, all eyes will be on how this young safety adjusts to the NFL game. The Bears have bet on potential and system fit over prototypical measurables. If Johnson proves them right, this could become one of the most talked about undrafted signings of the year. In conclusion, while the headlines often go to first-round picks and big-name signings, teams are built on the depth and determination of players like Tysheem Johnson. His story is still being written, but the first chapter already reads like the beginning of something special. As training camp draws near, the Chicago Bears and their fans will be watching closely.